Everybody lines the streets, soul's on fire, I can feel the heat. Homes are gone and the flames burn high in
The first time I ever heard about HIV and AIDS was probably when I remember like these images, like the adverts, ones that were like black and white with tombstones and the words AIDS written on the tombstone, and it just come crashing down and break into pieces. In my early teenage years, one thing that was like really important was like looking forward to the future and like planning on doing well at school, making friends, going out, having fun, that type of thing. Yeah, HIV was just out there, but it wasn't anywhere near my world because I never knew anyone with HIV or AIDS, let alone somebody young who was positive. First year of A-levels, and that's when I started to become sick. My glands became really swollen, like in my neck, and just really had all these fevers. And my mum took me to hospital, and then because I was 17, it kind of, they thought it was glandular fever because the result came out positive and negative. And then they wasn't entirely sure what was really going on with my body, and they said that they wanted to do more tests. And one of the tests they were going to do was just routine. Just a regular test, blood work, HIV was involved in it. They just said they wanted to test me for that because it was a way of getting it crossed off the list, possible illnesses. So I was like, okay then. I got a phone call 6 days later, and that's when they sat me down and told me I was HIV positive. The first thing went to my head was I'm going to die. I was just in shock, I guess, is the best way to describe it. Everything around me was just cut off. I didn't want to. I probably felt like the loneliest person in the world. Thought I was the only one going through it, and that's it. I'm going to die alone now, and I let my family down, and I let everybody around me down. I never told not one friend. I never told anybody at school because it was kind of, I was scared what they might think, what they might say, how they might treat me. I didn't know anybody else who was young who was positive, so I don't think I did cope with it. But then, it was kind of like, I guess growing up a lot, it makes you grow up quick, and, you have to kind of take responsibility. I got this virus, it was nobody else's fault apart from my own. I just wasn't informed, I didn't know enough, and was just vulnerable, maybe in some ways a little stupid, I don't know.
Clint's own experience has made him determined that other people won't be infected with HIV through lack of information. He now travels throughout the country running workshops with young people, like this one at the Oasis Youth Club in Milton Keynes.
Okay, great. So the whole idea of today is basically to get you guys thinking about some of the issues that you might deal with or you've currently dealt with. The purpose is to get you thinking and maybe get more information in the future about it. What I basically want to do now is to have you guys introduce yourselves, tell me your age, and the first thing you think about when you hear the words HIV.
My name's Richard, I'm 12 and I think disease.
I'm Leslie, I'm 16, and the first thing I think of when I hear the HIV is homosexuality.
My name's Shelley and I'm 13, and the first thing that comes to my mind is AIDS.
I'm Rebecca, I'm 14, and the first thing I think about is tests.
Hello, my name's Siobhan, I'm 11 years old, and the first thing to come to my mind is it is a disease.
I'm Sam, I'm 13, and the first thing that comes to my mind is needles.
My name's Vince, I'm 13, and the first thing that comes to my mind is the same view as Les, homosexuality.
Go tomorrow, and I'm 10 years old, and the first thing that comes to my mind is people in hospital beds.
How long does it take to develop HIV or AIDS?
It varies a lot from person to person because it's very individual. Mainly, they say it takes up to 6 months. They call that the window period. So it's like, so if you had a test and you wanted to find out if you was positive, it's best to wait 6 months from when you were tested to be, really sure whether you are or not.
What's the most common way to catch HIV?
Most common, it all depends. Like in the UK, it's mainly through sex. But you can be born with it. Like I say, from mother to child. Needles, various ways. So straight, gay, whoever, it can be exposed to HIV.
Can you die from AIDS?
Yes, you can. Yeah. Nobody knows how long it takes or whether there's a certain span because there's a lot of drugs to help you. So it can't be cured, but it can be treated.
Do you have to be a certain age before you can develop HIV?
No, you can develop HIV at any age.
On average, how many people die from the disease a year?
It does vary from country to country. At the moment, the statistics say there's over 6,000 people, 6,500 people under 24 currently living with the virus.
Say somebody was in a car crash.
Yeah.
And they needed some blood.
Right.
Can they get AIDS from that if they had to have blood?
That used to be a big problem a while, many years ago because the doctors were doing blood transfusions, and that was the way in which people did get HIV. Now though, they're doing all these tests that it's virtually impossible.
If people had HIV and other people know it, would they be treated different? Like, was it ever a case of they weren't treated as higher class as people?
It's a very good point, yeah. And it still happens today. There are a lot of people who are discriminated against because of their status, they're HIV positive. And a lot of people don't want to associate with the virus because it is seen predominantly as a gay disease, which it's not. Anyone can get HIV if their bodily fluid comes into contact with somebody else's. Why do you think it's important to talk about HIV and about sex?
Because children might not know, and then they'll go and have sex and they might contract the virus, and then they won't know anything about it.
Yes, definitely.
To help them learn what they can do to not get HIV and to use proper precautions.
I think it's important that if you don't want to have sex or you want to wait, that's your choice, and that you need support in doing that. When you're having all this information, later on you can make better choices.
I think somebody who knew little about it might get the wrong idea, and then if you talked more about it, I might get the right idea and understand it all.
Exactly, so if somebody in the classroom is born with HIV, that you're not excluding them or treating them any differently. You have a better understanding of what it's like and the fact that they are just a normal person. Okay, you guys, so where would you go to get more information or get services? Anyone got any ideas?
You could go to your local GP, or you could go to a nurse or a hospital.
Okay. Got any more ideas, yeah?
Local youth services with information.
There's lesbian and gay groups, there's also youth support phone lines. Anyone got any other ideas?
There's also switchboards.
Switchboards.
Like gay and lesbian switchboard.
Yeah.
And also you can find them in the back of magazines like Sugar.
That's good, so you know where to go to find that information.
Yeah, those big things.
And there's also Childline. You can phone them and other helplines in your area, specifically where you're from. So basically, can I have 4 volunteers to go out to the services and find out what it's about and what you can learn?
See, the light has gone straight back, 'cause they got caught in the devil's eye. We know it won't be long.
The Brook Advisory Centre is a national network. Rosie and Becky went to find out more about their services.
What kind of advice do Brooke give?
We'll give any advice to do with contraception, sex advice, such as sexual orientation, puberty, pregnancy. We have many leaflets on many issues, including drug awareness, HIV, sexually transmitted infections. We also give out free supplies of condoms, and if it's your first time at the centre, then we give a free condom demonstration to make sure that it is used effectively. The service we provide at Brook Advisory Centre is free. There isn't a charge for any young people.
What kind of people do Brook deal with?
Brook Advisory Centre doesn't turn anybody away from whatever walk of life you're from, whatever background. We see young people up to the age of 25. There is no lower age limit, so everybody's welcome from wherever you come from.
Do you need your parents' permission to attend Brook for advice?
Everything's kept confidential, so your parents don't know the information that we have about you or anybody else.
Rebecca, Richard and Sam decided to visit the GUM clinic at the hospital to find out about testing for HIV and other sexually transmitted infections.
What does GUM or GUM stand for?
GUM stands for genitourinary medicine, which means we're dealing with all issues and infections around sex and sexual activity.
What do you do at the GUM clinic?
At the GUM clinic we actually screen for sexually transmitted diseases and HIV.
What kind of people do you deal with?
The sort of people we deal with here are people like you and me. The youngest patient we've ever had is 13 and the oldest is 92.
If she tests positive for HIV, what happens in?
If you attend this clinic of your own accord, we will not tell your doctor your results, we will not tell your parents, your employers or your school teachers. We offer a full and confidential service here. We try to promote here at the clinic, if you've had unprotected sex, if there's something you know little about, is to get yourself checked out at the clinic, whether you have symptoms or not. Years ago, people used to have symptoms after about 5 to 10 days, which would be a discharge or a discomfort passing urine. Nowadays, because of the wide use of antibiotics, people aren't having any symptoms. So therefore, we try to promote here that if you've had unprotected sex, is to get yourself checked at the clinic.
There are drug and alcohol support services throughout the country. Leslie, Holly and Gemma visited MK DAS to find out the links between HIV and drugs.
Why do you call this place DAS?
DAS stands for Milton Keynes Drug and Alcohol Support Services. We're a completely confidential service. We don't have any contact with people's parents, social workers, police or any other agency, and we treat everyone who comes in the door as an individual. We don't preach to people about not using drugs. We want people to make their own decisions in life, but understand the consequences or possible consequences of their actions and take responsibility for them. So our focus, particularly with young people, is about advice and information and letting them make their own decisions. And as people get older and have difficulties, then we might look at programs to try and get them out of those difficulties.
Have you got information about HIV?
Yes, we have information about HIV and hepatitis and other transmitted diseases here. And we try and keep the data bank as up to date as possible. We have leaflets and other sources of information, reference points. Information's available either on the phone, and we'll post people information, or people can come in off the street and pick up leaflets and advice and information.
What has drugs and alcohol got to do with HIV?
You can get a lot of sexually transmitted diseases to do with drugs and alcohol. For instance, if somebody's been drinking too much and end up sleeping together, or to do with the drugs, people sharing needles and washes off spoons and stuff, which they can cause to get HIV and other diseases.
Without information and education, young people are unprepared. Not being informed can mean the difference between staying negative and becoming infected with HIV or other sexually transmitted infections. We should tell them about safe sex practice and drug and alcohol awareness and teach them relationship skills so that they can negotiate their own limits and boundaries. So what have you learned?
I've learned that HIV and AIDS is not just a gay disease.
I have learned that you can get HIV at any age.
I have learned that if you get drunk or stoned, you might take risks that you normally wouldn't take.
I've learned that anybody of any age, any colour or anything can be at risk of HIV or AIDS.
I have learned that HIV is a disease that no one can cure.
Don't let anyone pressure you into having sex without a condom. Always do it at your own pace at your own time.
I've learned that HIV and AIDS are different, and the difference between both. And HIV is before AIDS. I have learned that you can look healthy and still have HIV. The most common way to get HIV is through unprotected sex.
It's not too late for you to save them, but they're running out of time. Life's drifting away. There's nothing left to say. 'Cause they got yours.